Hello, everybody. Welcome to this brand new season of Sports Talk with Z. My name is Z, and welcome to the podcast. I hope everybody here is having a good Labor Day weekend. I know maybe some of you who probably have started school today, good luck in school. So I just wanted to give my remarks out to those. But yeah, this is season 2. Last season wasn't very successful. We only had one podcast. My goal for this season is to try and get us to get an episode out every single week, a weekly update, or maybe even every 2 weeks. That just depends on what my schedule has and everything like that. So be on the lookout for that. Just wanted to make that clear. So before we get into the news and all the current events, I also have one little promotion. Coca-Cola machine. You guys know him. You guys love him. Yes, this is the guy I was supposed to box. We are actually doing something new this season. We are creating a YouTube/Twitch fantasy football league. So, here's the issue. So far, there's only 3 of us in the league. We are desperately looking for more people. If you would like to draft with us, if you would like to draft with me, if you would like to draft with Coca-Cola Machine and you like football like I do, you can hit me up or feel free to reach out to me at one of these website or social media links. You can direct message me on Instagram, send me a Snapchat, whatever. And then just ask, hey, I'm a fan. Can I join y'all's league? Absolutely. Now, I will say this, space is limited. We are drafting next Monday because Coca-Cola Machine is currently out of town. And he will be back around next Monday. So we're going to be drafting next Monday or Tuesday. So just keep an eye out for that. All right, we got some NFL news this week. We got a lot of breaking news this week, actually. But we're going to start with the biggest news in probably the NFL all week that just shook up the entire NFL. It was expected, but we didn't actually think it was going to happen. Now, maybe this soon, but of course I'm talking about the Khalil Mack trade. Now, I don't publicly mention this a lot on YouTube. I haven't mentioned this on YouTube, but if you follow me on Facebook or Twitter and Instagram and stuff, you should know that the Bears are like my second team. My first team is the Buffalo Bills, and my second team is the Chicago Bears. Now, the reason for this is when I first got into football, the Bears were actually my number one team because my grandfather, he's from Chicago. My mom kind of grew up in that Chicago environment. Some of my family's from Chicago. But then the Bears just started going downhill, and then I just kind of grew into my passion for being a Bills fan. Now, I'm not saying I jumped on the Bills bandwagon because the Bears sucked. That's really not what happened. I just kind of grew and just realized, hey, the Bills are my team. Mainly just because 80% of my family is from the Buffalo, New York area. So I was kind of brought into this Bills culture as a kid. And back in elementary school, middle school, I had no idea how the hell football was played. I just said the Bills were my favorite team. I didn't know anything about them. I knew that they sucked, and that was about it. But yeah. So being a Bears fan, I was very happy by this trade. I wasn't exactly happy at how much we gave up, but it's Khalil Mack, and he's arguably the best young pass rusher in the NFL, and he's just an absolute beast. But I do think that we gave enough for him. I wasn't happy with the first 2-round picks, but it is Khalil Mack, and basically the trade was the Bears gave 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick for next year to the Raiders in exchange for Khalil Mack and their second-round pick next year as well. I didn't get the second-round exchanging picks. I thought that was just a waste. But still, this trade is absolutely amazing. It brings me excitement, and it adds excitement to that Bears defense and that whole Bears team. It almost sort of changes the culture in that locker room. Having a player of that caliber come in and expecting a lot from this team now, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins should be shaking in their boots now by seeing that trade. Honestly, the Bears could be, even before this trade, like everybody, even me, like we were all saying the Bears could be the sleeper team this season to watch out for. But now they're no longer a sleeper team. This team is expected to come out. They got a new coach. They got some great receivers. They got a young quarterback with some experience behind his belt. They got two fantastic running backs. They've got a growing defense. The Monsters of the Midway could be back. Now, when Urlacher retired, and after Urlacher retired, everything just went downhill. Like, everybody knew that this team was going to be rebuilding just by Urlacher retiring, and Lance Briggs retiring, Matt Forte leaving. That whole generation is gone, and now we're bringing in a new generation. So this could be a fantastic team to come for the next few years. And it's going to be an exciting team as well. So I'm really excited to see what not only this trade can do, but this team can do. But keep an eye out for the Bears this season. I really think that they could be a potentially playoff caliber team. If not playoff, then I could see them getting between 7 and 10 wins. Okay, that's my gamble right there. But in other news, we have news from the Bills. My Bills. Nathan Peterman was actually announced the starting quarterback for the Week 1 game against the Ravens. Now, we're going to go into a little backstory here. The Bills traded away Tyrod. Now, everybody's thinking that this is a dumb trade. I'm back and forth about this because I don't think it was all Tyrod's fault. And I'm going to go off topic here a little bit about Tyrod Taylor. I don't think it was all Tyrod Taylor's fault. The Bills, Rick Dennison was the offensive coordinator last year for the Bills. He was absolutely awful. I don't know what. The play calling was awful. The plays itself were awful. The style of offense was just awful. It fit Tyrod, but it didn't fit Tyrod. Most of those plays had checkdowns to Mike Tolbert. Now, there were a lot of games last year where Tyrod would just sit back. Now, he had receivers open down the field, but it was little old Mike Tolbert sitting for a 2-yard pass for a check down. That's all Tyrod threw constantly last year. But this offense didn't fit him. Plus, Tyrod didn't show. He has, as a quarterback, you have these playmaking abilities where you can do more than what the play can give you. And he can do stuff like audible. He can change some stuff. And he didn't read. He was a very consistent quarterback. I'll give him that. I will give him that. Tyrod took care of the ball, but it was almost too consistent. He wasn't taking enough shots down the field. He had Kelvin Benjamin. At the time in Carolina, he wasn't a fantastic receiver, but McDermott has changed Kelvin Benjamin around and turned him into a different receiver. And, Benjamin as this deep threat where Tyrod can throw this ball down the field, and he didn't execute on that. He didn't take that opportunity to do that. And that's one of the reasons why I thought they traded him, and they just thought they needed a new, fresh look. And this is what McDermott is doing. He's changing the culture. But back to modern day. So they traded Tyrod to the Browns, and they went out and they got A.J. McCarron from the Bengals, which I thought at the time was a smart move after an abysmal preseason, which I thought stunk. Yes, he did have that amazing comeback game against the Bears, but really all the starters failed to move the starting season. This preseason. The starting offense just looked abysmal. Josh Allen, they went out and drafted Josh Allen, which everybody is sitting here thinking, oh, he's a terrible quarterback. He's not going to be good in the NFL. Going into the draft, I thought he was my number one quarterback. And out of all the quarterbacks going into that draft, Josh Allen was my number one quarterback. And I thought he was the best quarterback. Of that draft, he had the best arm. He had some accuracy issues, but you can mold him into what you want, and he almost reminds me of like a young Ben Roethlisberger. That's kind of like what he reminds me of, is like a younger Ben Roethlisberger. Big guy, strong arm, almost like another Andrew Luck sort of for me. Maybe not as talented, but yeah. But then we have Nathan Peterman. Nathan Peterman, the guy who threw 5 interceptions last year against the Chargers, okay? Nathan Peterman now has had the entire offseason, and he looked great in preseason. He moved the ball well with the offense week 1 against the Panthers, and he just went out and just kind of slung the ball around, and he looked great. He took care of the ball, got the offense moving, got some points, and Peterman deserved this job. He deserved this job over Josh Allen and A.J. McCarron. Now, the Bills actually did trade A.J. McCarron to the Raiders for a 5th-round pick, which I thought was, he played terrible for us with the starters, but, we could have used him in case Peterman was hurt. But I'm honestly, if season goes well and it gets to the point where we're like, I don't know, maybe 5-2, 5-3, and Peterman gets hurt and we have a shot at a playoff, I'd be fine throwing in Josh Allen, because Josh Allen honestly impressed me in the preseason. So, yeah, Peterman was announced the starting quarterback for the Bills for the Week 1 game. Other news about starting quarterbacks, Sam Darnold has been announced the Jets starting quarterback for Week 1. Same thing with the Bills, really. But not really the same thing, because they started their rookie. Bills didn't. But here's what I'm getting to. This will make more sense. So the Jets had 4 quarterbacks in the competition. Really 3, but they really said 4. They had Bryce Petty. They had Sam Darnold, Josh McCown, and Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater, honestly, should have been the best starting option for this team, but I don't know why they signed Teddy Bridgewater. Maybe it's just because they didn't expect to go get a quarterback at the time they signed him in the draft, but Teddy Bridgewater was by far the best quarterback for that team in the preseason. They ended up trading him away to the Saints. Teddy Bridgewater, maybe it's just because he's still young and they don't want him sitting on the bench, so why not just trade him away, get the draft stock for next year to help out Sam Darnold in the future. Now, Josh McCown played great last season. He ended up breaking his arm and sitting out. He played decent enough for this team to have a legitimate shot at the playoffs. But Sam Darnold, it's smart because they want to get the growing pains out of the way. Now, I don't think Todd Bowles is going to, if they start, it's a gamble too, because if you start Darnold and you end up going bad, Darnold's gone, or not Darnold, Todd Bowles is gone, essentially. So it's a gamble. I am interested to see what Sam Darnold's going to do. I thought he was a decent quarterback going into the draft. Let's see how he does with the Jets. But Sam Darnold has been named the starting quarterback for the Jets. Another last thing for the NFL I want to talk about in terms of news. I saw this today, and I had a lot to say about this at first. Le'Veon Bell has not showed up for anything. Now, the Steelers expected him to come to practice Monday and today. This podcast is being recorded on Tuesday night. Le'Veon Bell hasn't shown up yet. This is because he has not gotten a new contract yet. This isn't the league holding him back. This is Le'Veon Bell because he wants to get paid. Now, the Steelers GM needs to just grow some damn balls. This team, if you let Le'Veon Bell go, you're not going to get far. Okay? Le'Veon Bell is a very, probably the most talented running back you're going to see. And it's like a once in a 5-year draft sort of thing. You don't get running backs that talented every so often. One that can pass, catch passes, wait so patiently and look for those holes, and yet do it so fast. You need to pay this man what he wants. The Steelers just aren't going to be the same. This could potentially be Ben's last year because you got Mason Rudolph or Josh Dobbs. This could be Le'Veon Bell's last year. Who do you got after that? Antonio Brown's not going to want to, Antonio Brown's not going to want to stay there with two younger quarterbacks and no offense, basically. He's going to want to go somewhere where he wants to win because he's what? He's 29 years old, 30? He's going to want to go to a winning culture if this happens, and he's going to want to be traded. So pay the man and just pay the man. Like, that's really it. Le'Veon Bell deserves to be paid, but Le'Veon Bell has not showed up for practice yet for the Steelers. So, yeah. Z Predicts is the greatest show on the internet. Now let's welcome our host, Z. Alright, so we have NFL Week 1 this Thursday night. Football is back. It has been a long time in the making. So we're actually going to just dive right into this and make our picks. So we have the first game with the Atlanta Falcons at Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles don't have Carson Wentz back, and their offense has looked like great in preseason. So I'm going to have to go with the Falcons on this one to get the first win of the season. The Texans and Patriots. Now, the smart pick would be the Patriots, but the Texans have Deshaun Watson back, and they got DeAndre Hopkins, Lamar Miller, they got Matthew. So I am going to actually pick the New England Patriots to win this game. The Jacksonville Jaguars at the New York Giants. Giants improved this offseason, but I don't think it's going to be enough to handle Jacksonville, so I'm going to give Jacksonville the win for this one. We have San Francisco at the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Jimmy G hasn't lost an NFL game yet that he just started. Plus, the Vikings, they got Kirk Cousins. They got a better team this offseason. That defense for the Vikings is just going to hand Jimmy G his first loss in his NFL career as a starting quarterback. And we have the Buccaneers and the Saints. Now, I don't think the Buccaneers are going to be that great this season, but the Saints are going to be a better team than they were last season, so I'm going to pick the Saints. We have Titans and Dolphins. This is my crap fest of the week, but I am going to have to pick the Titans for this one. I do believe Adam Gase is going to be fired this offseason after the season's over for the Dolphins. We have the Buffalo Bills, my Buffalo Bills, at the Baltimore Ravens. Now, both these teams have a little bit of a quarterback controversy going into this game, but I'm going to have to go with the Ravens just because that defense is better, and I don't think the Bills are as a complete team as the Ravens, so I'm going to pick the Ravens that one. We have the Steelers at the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are a much improved team this offseason. They haven't won a game in almost a year and a half, guys. A year and a half. They haven't won a game in 2 years, actually. It is crazy, but they are an improved team. But I don't think it'll be enough to beat the Steelers. I'm going to pick the Steelers over this one. We have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are just a terrible team. I don't think that they're going to be that good this year. I'm going to pick the Bengals. We have the Kansas City Chiefs at the the Los Angeles Chargers. So I am actually going to go with the Chargers in this one. Patrick Mahomes making his second NFL start. I don't think that'll be enough to beat the Chargers. We have the Seahawks at the Broncos. I'm going to have to go with the Seahawks. This is going to be my game of the week right here. This is going to be a good game. Actually, no, screw that. It's not going to be my game of the week. I just looked down the order. Game of the week is not there yet, but I'm going to pick the Seahawks in this one. I do believe the quarterback experience is going to help this team in a long way. We have the Washington Redskins at the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this is going to be a tough one, but I believe Alex Smith is going to rally the Redskins to get that win at the Cardinals. We have the Dallas Cowboys at the Carolina Panthers. Now, I'm going to have to go with the Panthers in this one. I just think the Panthers are a more complete team than the Cowboys. Cam Newton's just going to run that ball. They got DJ Moore now. They got a brand new offensive coordinator. I think Super Cam's going to be back. Game of the week right here, we have the Chicago Bears at the Green Bay Packers. Chicago Bears are a brand new team. They got Khalil Mack, like I said, but they're playing at Lambeau. So who's going to win? I am going to pick an upset for this week. I'm going to say Chicago Bears. 7% of people only vote for this one. With the New York Jets and Detroit Lions, it's going to be easy. I'm going to pick the Lions. Sam Darnold making his first start. Lions are going to be all over that. We have the Los Angeles Rams at the Oakland Raiders. I think the Rams are just the better team, a Super Bowl contender actually. So they're going to hand John Gruden his first loss since being back at Oakland. So that is the weekly picks for this week, guys. Thank you for watching.